biggest discussion today about the Sens is the Brady Tkachuk play yesterday. So 3 parts about it. One, should that have been a penalty shot? Number 2, was the poke check legal to say on Tkachuk on the penalty shot? And number 3, did he deserve to get ejected?
Yes, but it was the reaction. That's the discussion, not the
Yeah.
So we'll go through the play. We can put it on the screen now. So I thought it was going to be a penalty, but so Kochkov or whatever dropped his stick.
check off.
Whether he threw it or not, I don't know, but that's what the ref called it on the ice. And I was like, you know what? That's fair enough. Like, I almost would prefer a power play over a penalty shot, depending on who it is.
That's what you always say if you miss the penalty shot, right?
Yeah. And so I was like, interesting call, but sure. And then Tkachuk goes in with a lot of speed, and Kochkov, the puck's on his left. Tkachuk has it like on the left side of his body. His poke check with his stick is straight into Tkachuk's right skate, like not even close to the puck. And Brady like goes ass over tea kettle into the boards.
Okay, but so pause there for a second.
Okay.
So I do, yeah. So the stick did go into his skate, but he was poke checking to try to, because he thought Tkachuk was going to go to the backhand.
I mean, that's been considered clean for many years.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so
I understand.
He's poke checking because what he's thinking is Tkachuk's going to go to the backhand, so I'm going to block off the backhand and get my stick in the way of it. Yeah, it hit the foot, but is that really, like, I don't know, is that really considered like a deliberate trip or something?
No.
Like, he didn't go in to try to trip Tkachuk. He went in thinking, oh, he's on the forehand, he's coming in, he's about to go to the backhand, I'm going to stop him from going to the backhand.
Then why wouldn't you put it between his legs instead of directly into the skate?
Well, he didn't.
The stick was out of control, but it wasn't just right at his foot on purpose.
It didn't look the best, in my opinion. And some people were like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot for like wanting to go at the goalie." He's upset that the Sens are not doing the best, and I, as a Senators fan, like the passion. Like even earlier in the period, the Sens have no momentum. Everyone. I don't know why everyone on the team is trying to skate through 4 people at a time, and they lose the puck consistently over and over. So then Tkachuk and Giroux have a shift where Tkachuk has 3 hits, Giroux has 2. Like they're just going out there trying to create energy, and so it's late in the game. So even if like getting the crowd into it with that, hoping that a home game maybe it gets you at least a goal next shift because people are like fired up. I don't know, but I don't mind it, and I think as someone else on this couch who also has a hot-headed player on their team,
we both do.
That's what I mean.
Had
a similar, if they had a similar play, you'd have been like, "Yeah, I'm fine with it."
I think there's 2 major differences there, right?
You like Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson isn't a captain, and B, Tom Wilson isn't, as you're gonna like this, as good of a player as Brady Tkachuk. He's not as fundamental.
I disagree.
He's not as fundamental to scoring for Washington. So him getting ejected isn't as big of a deal.
It was out of reach at that point. It was like 2-3 minutes left.
It was 4 minutes.
Here's my problem, right? Like, Tkachuk needs to have this, like, because outside of where he loses his mind and gets kicked out of games, which happens more than it should.
It's only this season.
More than it should. He's a great captain. It's just every captain needs to have some sort of development where a certain part of their game goes away, and this is the thing that needs to change for him, because he can't be getting kicked out of games. That's the bottom line. Whether you agree with the call or not, I don't care. But going after the goalie after a play like that and getting kicked out of the game late in the game or not, it doesn't matter. If you have intention of coming back in that game, you need him on the ice. And my prime example of this is his brother, who was an absolute menace and like was getting kicked out of games all season last year up until the playoffs started. And then for the first 3 rounds, he toned it down to the point where he still had the edge, but he wasn't getting kicked out of games. And it showed, and he's the only reason that Florida got that far other than Bobrovsky. And then in the finals, when that's part of the game came back again and he started losing his mind for no reason, Florida gets pummeled by Vegas. And that's why for me, Barkov is the captain over him because he has more of the calmness and stuff. And I'm not even saying I think that Brady has more of the ability to be calm compared to Matthew. I just think that development needs to happen sooner rather than later because he's too important to that team to be getting into unnecessary fights or situations where he's getting misconducts. And I'm not even saying take the fighting out of the game because at least he's coming back after 5 minutes. But when you start scrums for no reason, when you kick the goalie for no reason,
I would say for no reason.
the kicking of the goalie.
No, I'm saying like a lot of his like.
But a lot of the scrums lead to just pointless things. Like, and he starts a lot of it, and it is pointless a lot of the time. Like just going after someone.
But he's not over that point per game.
He generally does it when the Sens are down by a lot.
No, I understand.
So
that.
he's frustrated.
The whole firing up of the team, I get, and that's part of the reason why he's captain. I get that, but there is a point of too far, and he takes it too far a lot of the time. I'm not saying he's dirty or anything like that because he isn't, but
he gets too aggressive after.
He just takes it too far to the point where the ref has to kick him out.
Mm.
It happens way too often.
So yesterday was a culmination.
Like 3 times.
It's more than 0, which is more than it should be. Because he's not. They've only played 23 games. If you're getting kicked out of 3 of those, you're already taking yourself out of the game.
He's been ejected 3 times this season.
He gets, I don't know, but he gets rattled. He gets rattled easier than other players, and it affects his game too.
I think he's just confident that he can like back himself. Like, I understand like you don't want that person necessarily taking those. And there are times like when I'm watching games where guys are trying to get him off the ice, like let's go, and he's like, no, I'm not better. But if there's a time in a game where he's pretty confident they're not going to come back, or like if they are, it's going to take like a huge effort, and like so he's taking it into his own hands to try
it's
to like.
It's not the only time that happens though. That's the problem. It's not the only time that he loses his mind is when there's like that, like maybe in the Florida game or in that last one that he did that. But like my point is that like he can still do that stuff as long as he draws the line somewhere where he doesn't get kicked out.